What up guys, it's Dragon Ball for Life here today and I'm back with another video. Now today's video we're going to be talking about the news that has just dropped. I think it dropped out yesterday about the Dragon Ball Super manga coming back, and they're basically going to be doing a prequel to, or just a prelude I think it is, to the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie, and it's going to be mainly focusing on Trunks and Goten, and it's going to be talking about what they were doing prior to Cell Max coming out and that whole thing with Cell Max, and I guess they're going to be touching upon Gohan and Piccolo a little bit more too prior to it. I don't know how much longer they're going to do prior to that, maybe like a week or so. I don't think it's going to be like a year or something that crazy, because I think this was around the time before, Bulma got Krillin, Android 18, Goten, and Trunks to come there to help out in the fight. So possibly around like a week or within a couple of hours. So it's going to be quite interesting. But before I get into it, I do want to give a big shout out to a couple of new subscribers of mine. The first one, Phantom89, big thank you. Dark Majin and Yuri Moore. Big thank you to all three of you for subscribing to this channel. It means a lot. I know I haven't been uploading on this channel too much. I've been trying to do it a little bit more now again, once in a while, but I have a couple of videos in mind that take some time. And like I said, I made the decision to make, to produce less videos on this channel, but to at least try to produce videos where it's going to take more time, like, to do some research and to do extra stuff with it. And I also have another big project in plan. I don't know if I mentioned it at any point, on this channel, but I do have a big project in mind that I'm working on right now. I have a creative idea I want to do for this channel as a whole. But yeah, let's talk about the discussion of the news that we got. Now, this is quite interesting because when we were thinking about, the manga coming back, whenever it was going to come back, I think it's coming back next month from what I heard also, we were assuming that they're going to go on to the Goku Black, not Goku Black, Frieza Black arc, where they're going to be talking about, how are Vegeta and Goku gonna, get more powerful to beat Black Frieza, because at this point he's too powerful. He one-shotted them both at their most powerful forms easily, and he took out the previous villain that they were struggling against. So it's like, that's what they were leading up to, but now they have information about them doing what's connection to Dragon Ball Super superheroes. So it's kind of confusing. If I'm being honest, Dragon Ball Super, the direction it has been going lately has been a little bit confusing. Now, when Dragon Ball Super first ended, we were waiting for Dragon Ball Super Broly movie coming out, and that movie was a continuation after the end of Super. So we had mention of the Tournament of Power, and I don't know if they specifically mentioned how much time had passed from the Tournament of Power to the Broly movie, but still, that was pretty normal. It was just after that they fought against Broly, then they didn't do really anything, and we had the manga with the Moro arc, which was supposed to be right after the Broly film. So it was also nothing wrong with that. Broly came after Tournament of Power, then Moro arc came after Broly, and then the Granola arc dropped out. That was literally directly after the Moro arc. Everything was going chronologically, normal and fine, until we got the announcement for Dragon Ball Super Superheroes, where we get told that this movie is 5 years into the future, or 5 years after, Dragon Ball Super ended. We don't know specifically what they mean by what time after 5 years, but we do know that time has passed since Goten and Trunks are a lot older. So that happened, and then I was a little confused. I was like, okay, this is getting a little confusing. Then we had the end of that arc with Black Frieza showing up, and them trying to lead into that. Now we have this information that the manga is going to be continuing next month, but it's not going to be going based on that story, but on Goten and Trunks' whatever they were doing some, I guess, trying to be superheroes themselves before the whole Dragon Ball Super superheroes battle, and they got into it. And then also Piccolo and Gohan are still gonna also have a little bit of a front here, which I do respect, because the Dragon Ball Super superheroes, they're trying to focus on other characters and more of the side characters instead of just Goku and Vegeta. Because I remember in the Broly movie, Gohan was not even in it. Like, he had no screen time in it. The only screen time they showed was when they were doing the beginning, where they're showing the events through Goku's life, and they're showing throughout, like, different events, and they showed him a little bit there. But he wasn't even there. Even Piccolo showed up, even though Piccolo didn't do anything besides, try to help teach Goku and Vegeta to fuse. He at least was in it, where Gohan was not present at all. And Goten and Trunks, they haven't really done much throughout the since Dragon Ball's come back, and they've been kids. And since superhero made them adults or teenagers at least, we felt like things were moving and going forward. But like I said, it's confusing because the timeline of Dragon Ball was going consistent, except for this, which has a 5 year skip. So it kind of threw a monkey's wrench into the writing narrative, and it's kind of confusing if I'm being honest. I was just wondering what are they going to do, and there are rumors about next year. There's going to be 2 Dragon Ball anime projects. One Dragon Ball Super coming back, and another one. I watched Geekdom 101's video on it, and he didn't really fully confirm if that was the case. He said we don't know yet, which it's kind of annoying that we're not getting official confirmation for everything, but this has been confirmed, so they're probably going to be leading up for something in the future. But I'm just wondering why. Why are they focusing on Goten and Trunks before Dragon Ball Superheroes? Are they still trying to promote the movie? Like, are they going to bring it back at some point? Because they've done this before, where they had a movie, they finished it, and then they brought it back into theaters just to get some more audience and more money for it. But I don't know. I feel like it's a good thing to have more focus on Goten and Trunks, but like I said, it's just so weird because how long can this last? This story, it's probably going to be like only a couple of chapters, and then they're going to move into the the Black Frieza arc, which they're going to go back in time. It's just really confusing, especially for the anime. Is the anime just going to continue on from the Moro arc, then the Goku Black arc, then I'm not Goku Black. Why do you keep on saying Goku Black? Sorry. The Moro arc, the Granola arc, and then the Black Frieza arc, and then the movie, or what? Like, it's just really confusing. I think they're making it harder than it should be. I get it, they want to make the movie right there, but they shouldn't have done that. And I guess the reason why they're doing this whole, this story where it's like, basically a prequel to Dragon Ball Superheroes, is the fact that it's going to take some time for them to bring the anime back. And they do want the manga to be ahead in a decent amount for some reason, even though it's not connected. But I don't think they want it to be so far ahead of, the anime, because they're already done with 2 arcs. They finished 2 arcs. By the time Super comes back, if they were going the way they were, they would have been like halfway through the next arc. So they would have been like 2.5 arcs in, and then they would have been starting with the Moro arc at that point. And it would have felt like, I guess, a little detached, the manga and the anime even more. So I guess they're giving the because they had they had the time where they took off for the manga, and they can't take off forever. So they need to give us some stuff. But also, I feel like they are, they still want to give the anime some time to come back. They're waiting for next year, probably early next year, hopefully early next year, because that will be a great well of content for not only my channel, but countless other anime/Dragon Ball channels out there. But yeah, I just don't know the direction that they're going with in this story. I think it will be interesting to see, how much Goten and Trunks got stronger, how much they changed. I don't like the way they handled, Goten and GT, where they basically made him just trying to go on dates and stuff. Like, that's fine, but he didn't even care about training. And at least in the end of the beginning, the end of Z, he did care about training. That's why he got into the tournament, but he still also didn't care enough. So hopefully they have Trunks and Goten care more about training, because we already had Gohan abandon his training and focus more on his personal life, which it's fine, I understand that, but the problem is this is a battle shonen. We're trying to see how these powerful characters fight and all this stuff. That's what we want to see about Goku and Vegeta and stuff. And I'm not expecting or saying that Goten and Trunks should be these like top level guys, but they should still constantly train. And I don't want to see another route with Gohan. A lot of people don't like that either, where with the whole Gohan thing, where he was getting so strong and so prevalent, and then they kept on pushing him back, saying, "Oh, he's not focusing on his training," and they did it again in this movie, and I just feel like they shouldn't be doing that for these characters. At least make them care more about fighting. If Gohan's gonna be a pacifist or whatever, doesn't like fighting, go ahead, but don't make Goten and Trunks the same. They can be a little bit slackers and lazy, I get that, but they should make them train. They don't need to train as hard as Goku and Vegeta do, but still at least make them train consistently, unlike Gohan. Because Gohan is, let's be honest, he's kind of a disappointment. Yes, he has some times to shine, even in this movie. The problem is that we've seen him come up and then come back down, so maybe some point in the future he might not, even after this movie, he might go back to his old ways of not training again and lose his, beast form, which would be pretty stupid. Hopefully they just keep him consistently training. But I don't know what direction they're trying to go with this. I just feel like the Moro arc had a nice direction they went with. It was creative and stuff. It did kind of fall apart towards the ending. The Granola arc was really great the way they handled it, except for the pure ending. I want to say, unlike Moro arc, where like at the last 80% of the 20% of the movie, it's not movie, last 20% of the arc, it started to go downhill. I feel like this one was only the Black Frieza introduction was the only thing I didn't like. I think that was the only thing I had a problem with, but besides that, the Granola arc was really well, even towards the ending, except for that ending. I felt like Granola should have just ended off gas with that final shot and just had it end off there. But I really don't know what direction they're trying to go with Dragon Ball Super. I feel like they're really directional this. I'll still check it out, but I feel like they don't have any real direction that they're trying to go, and it feels kind of very disconnected. I feel like Toriyama should have done a better job. I get it, he's not writing this stuff and he doesn't want to do that, but that doesn't change the fact that he still has, he's still the one who makes the blueprints for the story, and still gets to say what gets to go and not. I feel like he's done a very, very poor job at it. Like, especially since, the Resurrection of F stuff, I feel like he's dropped the ball continuously and did stuff that we don't need. I know a lot of people love the Broly movie, but we don't need Broly to be canon. We could have had somebody more newer, creative, or unique. I think one thing that Dragon Ball, Super is really lacking is more backstory and more of a fleshed out universe and world building. I feel like they set up a nice world building, a little bit of a backstory with Battle of Gods, and ever since then, the world building has barely moved up, and they don't really touch upon the backstory of Dragon Ball, and I feel like it's a very missed opportunity. And I've made a couple of videos about how I would have handled Dragon Ball Super, and I think one of the biggest things I would have done was mostly focus on building up this, doing world building, showing more in depth about who these characters are, their personal beliefs, their lifestyle, doing more of a backstory, explaining more about Frieza, where his race comes from, who he is. We brought Frieza back multiple times. We have him showing up multiple times, and we still haven't learned anything about Frieza. Literally, we've not learned nothing about Frieza. The most I guess you can say is when King Cold gave up his reign and let Frieza take over. But that's it. Like, you're telling me you keep on bringing back this character, keep on doing all this shit, and we're not getting any backstory on him anyway. What the fuck is the point? That's why I feel like, Toriyama and all these guys in the writing staff are terrible writers. Because a good writer would be like, oh, okay, character's a very well-established, well-known character. If I'm going to bring him back, I want to give him more, depth to him, explain more about his backstory. But Toriyama's like, no, I'm just bringing him back just to be a threat because I think he's cool and, he's popular and he makes me a lot of money. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I just feel like he's a big waste. And these type of stuff is cool, but it doesn't go anywhere. They're going to give us a little more about, Goten and Trunks, but they should have been following Goten and Trunks when it came back. They didn't at all, and now we're starting on it. It's like, the writing, the direction is just so stupid. So yeah, like, if you're going to do the whole Goku Black, I'm sorry for that whole Goku Black shit. I'm sorry, I keep on... The Black Frieza thing pisses me off because it keeps on making me think of that. But Black Frieza, if you're going to do that, at least give us some backstory of Frieza and his dad and his, who he is and his race and stuff. Stop making it so basic. For me, I'm not super excited with the manga coming out with this. Even if they did go on ahead and say, yeah, screw that, let's focus on, Frieza Black, or Black Frieza, I wouldn't care still. because it's pointless. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on this whole thing. The directions going in. I will still check it out to see what the manga is gonna look like, but I don't. If I was you guys, I wouldn't expect too much. It's probably going to just be some simple stuff like, oh, Goten and Trunks were having their little fun on adventures. They were training a little bit. Here's how their personal life is. Oh, this is what happened and led up to it. It isn't going to be that much. It's going to be pretty short. It's probably going to be a brief one. And then they're going to go on to the Black Frieza thing. They're going to probably try to extend the time out as much as possible so the movie can come out. Since it is going to be coming out next month, which this is the 11th month, that's going to be the 12th. By the time that the anime comes out, or possible statements of the anime coming out, it's going to be like it was probably going to take like a month or two to pass before they'd say anything. But yeah, the only thing I'm really excited for is seeing the franchise coming back, seeing how they're going to handle it, what they're going to do with it. Also, how different is going to be the anime versus the manga. Because when Super was here first, the anime and the manga were night and day, and there is going to be definitely some differences, but how drastically different. And I feel like, though I highly doubt it, I feel like what the mistakes they made with the Mor arc, they definitely can't change the Granola arc, the ending, because Black Freeze is going to have to happen. But with the mistakes they made with the Mor arc, I feel like the anime has the opportunity to fix their mistakes that they made, but sadly, knowing that their track record, they're possibly gonna make the same mistake again and not really fix anything or change anything. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I want to do more videos on this channel, like I said, but I want to make more creative videos instead of just simple videos like this for you guys. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.